TKX transmission, do a quick time bell housing, and McLeod twin disc clutch hiding in there. Things dialed. All right, what's going on, Enebo Racing Channel? Got a big day today, folks. We're heading over to the shop in Stormtrooper. I'm taking the final drive with the T5 in it. We got a brand spanking new TKX transmission going into this thing today. Ben and Brian are on deck ready to help. We're gonna knock this out. Haven't even seen it yet. It all got delivered last week. But we got a McLeod twin disc clutch, SFI bell housing, TKX. Yeah, we're gonna knock this thing out today. We got a lot of other mods. I gotta get the fuel system all done. I don't know if all that's gonna happen today, but we're at least gonna try and get the transmission in today before it gets too hot, and possibly come back tomorrow and get the fuel system knocked out. And once I get there, I'll go ahead and unbox everything, and then it'll probably just be a lot of time lapses. But either way, we're gonna get this project started here. Let's go. Oh boy, it's Christmas time in the summer. We got boxes, baby. Believe that's probably gonna be clutch, bell housing, obviously transmission, and then whatever's in here. But either way, all the install kit and everything. But yeah, so I'm gonna get to opening this. I gotta make sure that everything is here that should be. And Ben already had this drive shaft balanced with the 31 spline yoke on it, and so I didn't have to go through that trouble. It's not aluminum, but whatever, it'll do for what we had laying around. So I'm gonna get on a time lapse just unboxing this so I can verify everything's here, and then yeah, we'll move on to getting Ben's car out of here. It's been running good. I think he's been battling some oil leaks, so hopefully he's got that all dialed, but this thing's awesome. I'm gonna try and do a better kind of full build breakdown video on this, just because he's got a lot going on and it all happened. But I see he's working on the exhaust, and yeah, yep, him and Brian, they've been going hard. All right, we got the McLeod twin disc. Got good packaging here. Sheesh. Oh, baby. Let's go. All right. Some ARP fasteners. Oh, boy. More bags of goodies here. Oh, more bolts. Sheesh. All right. We'll save that. We'll keep moving on here. All right, in this box, we got a really nice AMSOIL fluid here. We've got some goodies. We've got a Mustang transmission harness for a manual, new unit. Got a new clutch fork, transmission mount, and then I did get a new little shift boot, but then there's a bunch of small parts. Looks like a throwout bearing, some ARP hardware, another wiring harness, lockout switch, TKX hardware kit, a new speedo gear, and I think that might be it for this box. But I'm gonna go through here and just check off my invoice just to make sure I got everything, and we'll open up, it looks like the bell housing and the transmission, baby. We got a new bell housing. This thing's a total unit. Wow. It's gonna save your legs, people. So really, really nice. We'll have to index this, but Ben has done that plenty of times with his, because Ben has the same exact transmission setup. So we have a different clutch, however, same bell housing, same transmission, and very similar drive shaft. But either way, that's who's gonna make it easy for me here, is Ben has index these things plenty of times, so hopefully we'll be able to make a good video for you guys just to show you what we do. But otherwise, all this stuff looks correct. So once Ben and Brian get here, we'll get their car off the lift. We'll start getting my car torn down, get the T5 out real quick, and then just start throwing this stuff together. All right, dun, 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 dun. It's packed in here pretty well, but there's a TKX down here, folks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mac Daddy here. All right, well, shout out Trim It. It did package this thing fairly well. Boom. All right, we'll get this thing lifted out of here. On the table. Got some shipping. I don't even know that's damaged. I think it's just part of
the plug.
Right.
You gotta get that out of there, but it got, you know.
This is probably what you'd hook onto or something.
Well, look, it got like banged. It used to be like flat or whatever, however you're supposed to grab it out of there. But yeah, now we gotta figure out just how it pulls out. But it says, do not use needle nose.
Right.
You need to get a good grip on this. But ours did come
shipping
out
plug
easy,
on all 31 splines. Remove the shipping plug. Remove by grabbing the shipping plug with a regular pair of pliers. Do not use needle nose pliers. You need a good grip on this plug. The plug gets stuck to the splines. Reach under the environmental lip of the output shaft seal with your pliers. Firmly pull on the seal a little bit, then move your pliers to the opposite side and pull on the seal a little bit. Walk the seal out. All right.
Yeah, so this must be the environmental lip.
All right, folks. Well, first problem we got here is the shipping plug is legitimately broken off all the way down in there. We're gonna have to do some extraction here and some bullshit. I'm not sure what's going on, but there is a mark right where that plug would have been. And then you can even see on the box that something really caught the box pretty good. There's marks and shit on it, and so that plug's pretty on there, I ain't gonna lie.
What kind of oil is that?
ATF.
I know, it just looks like, yeah. Get a pin on there.
All right, we're back in action here. We got a little farther this time. Ben and Brian got the shipping plug knocked out. Modern Driveline had to end up sending us a new seal, so we'll show you that. But so far we got T5 out. And underneath here, we just got to work on getting the bell housing and the clutch off. The starter's already out, so we can zap these little bolts off and start taking this stuff apart. All right, so we got the bell housing and transmission out of here. Just got to get this spec stage 3 clutch out, but nothing too crazy. Not that I really know what I'm looking for, but for the most part, there's not a lot of fluid or anything. And so we're gonna get the pressure plate off and the clutch out, and yeah, go from there. All right, so flywheel that's in the car, not looking as good as Ben's.
It used to look like this.
Yeah, used to look like this. Brian's cleaning it up with a little WD, little Scotch-Brite, little resurface special. Ben only had, I think, 2 passes on that flywheel before he had to go 0 ounce balance. But yeah, this is the flywheel we got in here, and yeah, it got a little groovy. It probably would work, but since we have another option, we're gonna put that one in and then just go take this one and get it surfaced for another time. But yep, we're moving along here. We're gonna get this out and keep on moving. All right, so we got the flywheel off, and we're having this debate whether to replace the rear main and the pilot bearing or not. And because we just installed them and they're not leaking, we're gonna just leave those be. So even though now's kind of the time, We are putting a new throwout bearing, new clutch fork. We're gonna have a new pivot stud. I think we're just gonna send it. All right, Brian's first pass, Dunsky. That's I think gonna do it. So luckily Ben just has billet flywheels laying around. All right, well, in a drastic turn of events, we have realized that the QuickTime bell housing that came with the TKX kit is non-SFI rated. In the instructions, it was for an SFI rating bell housing, and so there were some bolt holes that were missing, and lo and behold, Ben's, being an SFI bell housing, has these little bolts. Let me show you. This is the bell housing, and it is beefy. I mean, it's thick, but it doesn't have the bottom scatter shield bolts on the bottom, whereas Ben's does. And we found out that that's what differentiates the SFI versus non. And looking at the invoice, they did have the non-SFI bell housing on the invoice, and I just didn't catch it, but I didn't know that there were two identical $1,000, $900 bell housings available, and one's SFI and one's not. I didn't know that a non-SFI rated bell housing would be that expensive, but lo and behold it is, so we gotta send that back. Not too big of a deal. We're all prepped, and so we're just gonna get the rear end out of the car now, because we're gonna get that built over the next week as well. So should be getting cruising, so we're gonna yank this thing out of here. All right, well, Ben and Brian got the SFI bell housing all installed here. Got a new one from Modern Driveline, but we've already set up the bore gauge and found out that we're got about a 14 thousandths difference, so it's about 7 off from the center. And so we're gonna take the bell housing off and install our offset dowel pins and see how close we can get it, but we should be all right. All right. So we got to get the dowel pins out, and there is a little port in the back of the block here. A little punch in here, and boom, got them out. So, stock dowel pins. Got to get rid of these. We're gonna throw in these 7th thou from Summit. Got some offset ones, so 7, and they got a little hex on them, so you can actually spin these ones, but oh, perfect. Oh yeah, perfect. Slide right in. They got the hex head, so you can adjust them.
We just put the bell housing on and then start moving them.
Yeah, exactly. So we got the bell housing index. I got my adjustable dowel pins set right around 3 o'clock, a little bit past 3 o'clock. The bell housing pretty much has 0 run out. It's like 3 thousandths from side to side, so we're dialed in there. Got the 2 bolts back in it. We're gonna give this surface a little bit of mineral spirits and start assembling the clutch. All right, folks, we got the McLeod freshly installed, all torqued down here. Looking good. All the alignment marks are marked up here. Lined up, perfect. Now we can pull the key out and get to work installing this TKX. All right, folks, so now we're just going to install the new pivot stud into the QuickTime bell housing here. So we're gonna measure how far it sticks up. So we got a jam nut here. So we're basically just going to measure from the edge of the bell housing to the top of the stud on both of them, from the factory to this one, and then we'll just put a little bit of something on here, maybe just a nice thin film grease, but no grease, just a little film, and we'll tighten her down and lock her in. All right, folks, we are getting ready to stab this transmission in. We got all of the bolts torqued on the bell housing, got the clutch fork installed, and yeah, we're gonna stab this in here. folks, we're stabbed and torqued. Clutch cable's hooked up. Tech tip, Ben and Brian had found out that you can get to a point where the transmission just barely not seated against the bell housing because the locator ring that Tremec sends you, or I guess QuickTime sends you for this transmission, it's so perfect that the splines on the clutch keep it from really getting perfect. So what we do is we get it all the way in to where the splines of the transmission line up through both clutch discs so they're not gonna fall. And then you do need to give the clutch a little bit of a pull to loosen those splines up, and it allows this to just slip right in. That's what happened to ours. We're gonna get the cross member mounted up real quick, then the transmission's fully installed. I got a new wiring harness from Scott Carpenter Mustang Parts. We're gonna slap that in there, and then yeah, all this wiring, you'll see it's seen better days. So we're gonna get a new harness installed, fill it up with fluid, get everything dialed in, get my speedometer cable hooked back up, and then we'll slap the rear end in, and then we'll get the drive shaft installed, be able to take this thing for a rip. All right, so another tech tip here, if you're using a Stifler's cross member, we're going to be putting the small bushing and the big bushing in the front, like that, and you slide this little piece through. But yeah, you gotta tap this little bushing through and then put the small spacer on this side, just so it moves the cross member back a little bit. All right, boys, fresh TKX, fully mounted, fully torqued, QuickTime, SFI bell housing, twin disc McLeod clutch, torqued, ready to get the rear end installed. Slap the drive shaft in here. Got a little assembly. I'm gonna show you guys what we got going on inside the car, but we're gonna get this 8.8 fully custom built. So we got quick performance, 1541 axles. We got a strange full spool, rear end built by Kaiser Performance. And yeah, we had a full brand new bearing kit installed. All the lash got reset. My flange was pretty messed up, so we replaced that. And yeah, we're gonna get this thing dialed in. All right, we got the rear end all installed here. Brian's getting the tires on. We got the drive shaft all torqued down. Brakes are on. It's looking pretty dialed. We got a brand new harness hooked in. I gotta get something to secure the speedometer cable, but we'll figure that out. And yeah, we are looking pretty good here, folks. Now we just gotta get the starter in. We're gonna fill it up with fluids, and then we'll set it back down, and I got some stuff to button up on the top side, but we're making headway here. All right, people, behind the scenes, we have been thrashing for a few hours. Terminator X is on, doing a quick TPS auto set here. Success. Perfect. All right, ready? Coming out. All right, we're live. Well, should we see if it works with no load? Oh yeah. We're good. It works. No crazy noises.
It seems great.
All right, one more piece of the puzzle. We're all stiffed out here. Stiflered up, got the cross member and the drive shaft loop. Thing's very centered, very nice piece. So that's gonna accompany the nice bits very good. But otherwise, looking good. Torque 'em. Hell yeah. Off the lift. All right, we're leaving the shop with the fresh transmission and rear end installed. We got Ben over here. We got Cody in the back. Ben's gonna go for a rip. Ryan's ready to go. They got the stars. We're dialed in. That's gonna wrap it up for this video. Obviously, we had our setbacks with the tail shaft plug being damaged. Had to wait till a little while to get that seal, but also the bell housing was wrong, so we had to wait a week to get that. You know, we got the fuel system installed on the first weekend. It was installed on that last video you saw, so it's working great. Got tons of fuel now, but otherwise, we were able to get things handled, and we got a lot of content coming for racing, whether it's Zippel's 3-pedal shootout, and then we went on the Redwood Rally, and so TKX has been working great. I really appreciate everyone sticking around till the end. Make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay rippin'.